For the past couple of weeks, I had this itch to mood read, and I kind of started mood reading off camera, but then I never finished the books, and now I'm in the middle of 3 different books actually. I think it's 4. And I just want to finish them, so I decided to do a mood reading vlog. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Carol, and I like reading. As you can tell from this bookshelf, you also have the Kindle where I read a lot. So I like reading and I like fashion. So occasionally I do fashion related or mostly book related videos. But going back to the theme of this video, I want to finish reading some of the books I started. The first book I started was 21 A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. I'm not 100% sure if this book is inspired or if it was written in tandem with the movie by Stanley Kubrick, but basically 21 A Space Odyssey, it is a classic sci-fi, and in this alternate reality, the human species, the development of the human species was propelled by this object. I forgot the name of it, but many years later, the humans, they have already colonized the moon, and some scientists, they find one of those objects buried inside the moon, and they need to find out what does that mean for the human species. And we are following on the journey. I'm 33% through this book and I was enjoying it. I don't remember exactly why I stopped reading it though, but I was really enjoying it. And then the second book I started reading was also on my Kindle, and it is called The New Me by Halle Butler. And that one, it is more of a general fiction, and we follow Millie. She's a temporary receptionist at this high-end design company. But the thing about Millie is that one, she's kind of depressed. Second, she's very passive. But at the same time, she's kind of chaotic. And in the new me, we follow Millie's point of view, but also sprinkled, we have chapters where we follow the POV of Karen, who is kind of the supervisor of the receptionist, and she's not that big of a fan of Millie. And also sprinkled, we have the POV from other colleagues from Millie. And so far, I like the mode of this book. I like this baking tray, but the book's just not hitting for me. It's still good. I still find it interesting. I still want to finish it, but so far it's just not hitting, and I just hope it hits in the next couple of like 20%. I have, I think, 30%. I'm 69% through. I hope it hits, but so far the star just haven't hit yet. It is sitting on a 3-star, and it is also not a very long book, so I hope to finish it in the next hour or so. It must not, I don't think it will take long, just because it is not a long book. Then I'm also reading Wildfire by Hannah Grace, but I'm reading this for another video that I'm not sure when this video goes up, if it will be already up or not, but if it is, I'll link in the description box. So because the review for this book will be in another video, I won't talk much about it in this one. And then let me pick it up. I'm reading Quiet by Susan Cain. This is a non-fiction about the power of being an introvert, and this book has been on multiple TBRs, has been on my TBR, my physical TBR, for years. And I read one chapter weeks ago and then I never picked it up again, so I need to go back to it. I'm not sure if it will be in this vlog. In terms of the timestamps or how long I will be filming this mood reading vlog, ideally I would like to stick to a maximum of 1 week, but I'm not sure if I'll manage to read as many books to be able to put together a reading vlog in 1 week. So let's stick to 3 books. The moment I finish reading 3 books, then we can finish this mood reading vlog, maybe start a new one. But yes, I'm going to finish reading The New Me because that's the one that I'm farthest along besides Wildfire, and I think it's the one that will take the least amount of time to finish. So I'll finish that one, then I'll come back with a review. Hi, it's a few hours later and I just finished reading The New Me. And for me, truly, it is just a three-star book. I like the meat, I like the cut of the meat, but I just didn't like the seasoning. It's just it ended up being a meh book for me. I would still recommend you to read it if you want like office, blend office drama, kind of I'm trying to figure out how to say it without sounding arrogant or just dismissive, because it's not a bad book. I just found it to be quite bland, and it's an interesting character study. It does touch on important subjects like mental health and workplace dynamics. I think it is good to make you reflect about how sometimes your actions can affect someone else's life, because that's definitely what happens to Millie, but it just lacks some seasoning. It's fine, it's a 3-star, but yeah, that's it for The New Me. I think I'm going to finish reading Wildfire, but I won't talk about it in this video because it'll be another one, and then I think if I finish Wildfire today, I might pick up 21 A Space Odyssey too. That's something for later me to figure out, and then I'll come here and update you with whatever I decide to do. Hello, it's been a few days. I started this video on Saturday, now it's Monday, and in terms of reading updates, I don't have much to say. So after I finished The New Me, I went and I finished reading Wildfire by Hannah Grace, and ended up giving this book 4 stars, but my review for this book will be in another video. If it is already published, I'll link in the description box. And that's all I'll say about Wildfire. Then I watched until halfway through the new season of The Bear. And in terms of 21 A Space Odyssey, I read a few chapters and that's pretty much it. I don't have nothing to say about it at the moment, but I do have a mini book haul for you because I bought more books. The first book in this pile that I have right next to me and that arrived today is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. Her name is 99% probably not pronounced this way because she's Belgium, but for some reason I decided to pronounce it the English way. But in this book, it is about, I think, 40 women who they were stuck or they were in prison in this underground bunker, and for some reason they managed to get out, but because they were for so many years in this underground bunker, they kind of never met men. And I don't know, a lot of people seem to really love this book. This book has actually been on my list of books I want to read someday for quite some time, because there's so much hype around it and it does sound like something I would enjoy. And the reason why I decided to buy it now is because I saw another person raving about it and talking about how this is one of their favorite books ever, and it's one of those people that have quite similar tastes to me, especially when it comes to more lit fic or more weird fiction. We share some favorite books, so I trust her opinion, so I decided to buy it. And I don't know, the premise of this book, it reminds me of a more serious take in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, that TV series from Netflix that I watched years ago and I remember enjoying. This book, though it was released way before the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, I think it's from the 90s. Let me check, let me see if it has the date. This book was originally published in 1995 with the title Moi qui n'ai pas connu les hommes, and I actually tried finding this book in French, but I couldn't. So I got a translated version. But where was I? Yes, this book kind of reminds me a little bit of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but also it reminds me of this science fiction short story I read a few years ago called Herland. I don't remember the name of the author, I'll put it in the screen, but it was also a short story where we follow these women that have never met men, because they live in a society where they are autosufficient in the way that women manages to get pregnant without the need of men. They manage to, I don't know, something, they manage to get pregnant out of, I don't know, dots or something. They found a way to not need men to have babies. And it reminds me a little bit of that, but I want to read this book soon because it just sounds so interesting. And a lot of people recently have been talking about how amazing this book is. Then I got a book that has a completely different vibe. It is a fluffy rom-com, I believe. Abby Jimenez says it's a heartwarming, healing rom-com, and the cover says he's not fake, he's Canadian, and the book is Canadian Boyfriend by Jenny Holiday. I never saw anyone talk about this book, but I saw it on Amazon and it sounded interesting. It sounded like the kind of weird I like in my fluffy rom-coms. So clearly this is a hockey romance, but basically in this book we follow a ballet teacher who, when she was a teenager, she met this hockey player from Canada in a mall, and ever since then apparently she uses him as her get out of jail free card, in the sense that she has social anxiety. She's also apparently kind of an introvert, so whenever she was put in a situation where she didn't want to go to some kind of party or some kind of event, she would always say she like, oh sorry, I can't go because I'm going to visit my boyfriend in Canada, or my boyfriend is visiting from Canada, but of course it is a lie. And then many years later, she's a ballet teacher and he shows up at her ballet, the place where she works, where she teaches the ballet classes. He shows up with his daughter, and I don't know what will happen. According to the back of the book, they will form an unlikely friendship. And the longer she keeps her secret, the more she knows it will shatter the trust between them. But to have the life she wants, she needs to tackle the most important thing of all, believing in herself. I don't know, I am curious. It seems like just a fun, fluffy rom-com palette cleanser, and I'm curious about what will happen when he finds out that he is her fake Canadian boyfriend. Next book, again, completely different vibe from the fluffy rom-com. We have On Our Best Behavior by Elise Loehnen. She is a journalist who, I think she co-wrote 12 books by now. This book was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2023, and this author, apparently she used to work for Goop. She was the host of the Goop podcast, is this a name? Yes. And she was one of the presenters of the Goop Lab, which was a TV series Goop had on Netflix. And in this book she explores how the 7 deadly sins affects women, in the sense that how the impulse and the way women were conditioned to be good girls, it's actually, again, it's just a conditioning in the feminine mind, and it is conditioned by the culture that benefits from keeping women under control. I kind of want to start reading this book now, not gonna lie. It isn't that long. It is large in the sense of, like, it is bigger than a regular paperback. The pages are big, but also the font, it is kind of not small, and it is a little over 200 pages if you don't count the references she uses in this book. And I don't know, I need to think about it, if I will start this book before I finish reading the ones I already have started, or if I pick those one up. But I guess I'll let you know in this video. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to hide the fact, maybe saying this, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I accidentally spilled orange juice on my shirt, and I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm wearing a tank top with this blazer. But let's get to reading, shall we? Hello, am I sitting in the same place I was in the last clip? Yes, but I swear I just don't sit in this chair. Sometimes I sit on the white chair that is right across from me, but I decided to film this clip late at night, and I'm wearing very artificial lighting, and when we wear artificial light it just looks better when we are here. So I'm going to film this update here. So the updates that I have, the first one is that I read a few chapters from Honor Best Behavior, and so far I've been enjoying this book. It seems to be really really well researched, and that's pretty much it. I still haven't read much, and I don't think I will be able to finish reading this book by the end of this video, just because also, honestly, we just have one more day until we reach 1 week of when I started reading when I started filming this video, because today is Friday and I started filming on a Saturday, I believe, so we have 1 day. But I didn't finish reading 21 I Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke, and I ended up giving this book 3 stars. At the beginning, I really enjoyed it, but I had some struggles with this book. The first one is that we just changed our main character multiple times. I think we spent 30% of the book with one character, then we spent around 30% with another character, and then when you are kind of starting to care about it and about the journey this person is on, we change to another character, and basically the adventure is the same, but the characters are different. And because this book is written in a third-person narrator and we aren't actually in the character's head, we aren't that close and feeling the things the characters are feeling, it felt kind of difficult to connect and care about where the story was going. But I still like the concept and I still like some parts of it. I like the second, not exactly the second part, but the second part of the journey. Oh, cool, we have cars. Okay, I think the car has passed through. But I like the second part of the journey. The third part of the journey, I struggle to care about it, and also sometimes it's just very much slice of life. There isn't much action in this book, and also the way it is written, this book, it was written in tandem with the movie, and you can feel like this book was written for a movie because it's very descriptive in what the characters are doing. There isn't that much action. It is very descriptive, which I thought sometimes it was boring, and overall I just struggled to care about it, but I still enjoyed it. And maybe I will continue this series in the future, but it is not a priority on my reading list. And then also I think it didn't help that I was feeling kind of slumpy, entering a reading slump. But then right after I finished reading this book, I started watching Pride and Prejudice 2005 version, and then the reading slump was gone. That movie, it's so good. Technically, I didn't finish watching it yesterday. I still have 20 minutes left, which I plan to finish watching hopefully today. But after watching Pride and Prejudice, I felt renewed. I felt ready to embark on another journey because that movie is just that good. And then I was scrolling through my Kindle because by the time it was late at night and I just didn't want to get up and go to my bookshelves. And I didn't know what I wanted to read, but then I accidentally opened this book, which I had borrowed from Kindle Unlimited not many years ago, many months ago. I think last year I borrowed it and I kind of forgot it was there, and then I accidentally opened it, and because I just opened it, I just thought, okay, let's read it then, let's give it a chance. And that book is Charlie, Love and Clichés by Maise. I read 3 other Maise's books before and I remember enjoying them. I didn't have any problems with the writing. There was one, I think it was to Love Jason Thorne, that there was some plot points I think could have been better worked at, but in general I enjoyed her books. But with this one, so far I'm 3 chapters in and it's just not it for me. I didn't like the original meet-cute of the characters. I didn't like the second meet-cute of the characters. And you know when you are not enjoying a book? So every little thing that sometimes you would overlook in a book, it it's like some grains of salt that keep scratching at you, and suddenly they annoy you, and you're everything. It's just you just feel more sensitive to anything that you would overlook or that you don't particularly enjoy in a novel. It's how I'm feeling with Charlie, Love, and Other Clichés. Another reason for that is also that the female main character, the first few chapters, she's just very quirky and obnoxiously quirky, very early 2000s rom-com quirky, and not in a good way. And sometimes I don't care if the female main character is quirky at all, but in this case, it's just so in your face that was annoying me. And also the way the guy talks about being or thinks about how he's infatuated with her, it's just kind of giving me the literary ick. And it reminded me of actually Unravel Me by Becca Mack, which was also a book I just didn't enjoy, and in part was because of that. It is just that sickly, sugary, too sweet, I'm infatuated with this person, which I personally just not enjoying it. And I think I will give this book a few more chapters because I enjoyed previous Ella Maise's books before, but if not, I might just DNF it because it's so far it's not it. Hopefully it will get better because I enjoyed Ella Maise's books before and I had high hopes. And I forgot to tell you what Charlie, Love, and Clichés is about. I'm not 100% sure because I kind of forgot about it, but apparently we follow, her name is Charlie, and she is a PR. I think she is a specialist in crisis management. She works at her family's company, and she's also a person that tends to say, oh, I will change this, I will do this in my life, and then she kind of never follows through. And then we have William, who he's also a PR guy. He was recently hired by her father, so they work together. So I guess this is a workplace romance. But also the thing is, Charlie and William, they met years before in a diner. Apparently for a whole week they kept going to the same diner at the same time. On coincidence, they never planned for that to happen, but they just kept showing up at this diner at the same time, and they started talking and they became close during that time or something like that. I'm not sure. And so apparently he broke her heart some way. In some way. I'm not. I don't know. I have no idea how because we didn't got to this part yet. And honestly, I'm not sure if I care. But I will give this book a few more chapters, and then we have until tomorrow to finish this book. So I'll also give me then until tomorrow. If I continue to not enjoy this book, I will DNF, and then I'll give you an update. And that's all I have to say for now. So I said I was coming back on Sunday to give you a final review for this video, but to be completely honest, it is not Sunday. Right now it is Wednesday. I tried filming Sunday, but the light wasn't that great, and then I tried filming on Monday and the light wasn't that great, and then today the light is also not that great. I think there is a chance it might be a little bit dark. I do have some artificial lights around me. I try to not turn on the overhead lights because then it would be really bad, especially in this corner, because when my background is white, because I'm already so pale, I tend to blend in or just look yellow and sickly. So we are trying like this. But basically, to stop rambling, today's Wednesday and I did finish reading Charlie, Love, and Clichés. I don't know why I kept reading this book, because for so many points in this book I was thinking, oh, maybe I should DNF it. I should stop wasting my time in a book I know I won't enjoy. But I think it might have been the cameo from Jack and Rose from Marriage for One, which is another book by Maise that I read years ago and I remember enjoying it. And the cameo was cute. It was them doing their thing, the same thing they keep doing in that book. And it was quite cute, and I think that might have been the reason why I decided to continue. Or maybe because, I don't know. I truly don't know, because in the end I ended up giving Charlie Love and Clichés 2 stars. I just didn't enjoy this book. I should have DNF'd it. The girl, Charlie, the whole time, so we have this side plot between her and her family. She doesn't have a great relationship with her family, and every time they show up, I would immediately start thinking, girl, grow a backbone, girl, stand up for yourself. She was also just a quirky I didn't enjoy, and she also was all the time falling all over the guy. And don't you know how to stand? It was kind of, I thought her to be kind of too quirky, too annoying, too cliche in a way I didn't necessarily enjoy. And the guy, William, he just gave me the ick. I was just so icked out by him. And the side plots in general, they felt a little bit messy. Personally, I didn't enjoy. I know some people seem to really like it on Goodreads, but for me, I didn't enjoy it. I think it was too saccharine, sugar sweet, like kind of love. I felt like I was eating a never-ending cotton candy all the time reading the book, which wasn't that pleasant of a feeling. And in general, I just didn't enjoy this book, which in the end it is kind of disappointing, because the other 3 books in this series, not in this series, but the other 3 books by the authors that I read, I enjoyed, and this one was just not for me. There wasn't anything I would say it's objectively bad, makes book objectively bad, and that I would never recommend to anyone, but it is just not the book for me. And that's all I have to say for books right now. And if you like this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. Bye.